So where they've done over 1,000 home inspections, and it's a really good designation as a home inspector. Now, when it comes to certifications, there are online certifications that only require a 5-minute test. So that's why we like InterNACHI. It's very rigorous. It's very hard to get. Now, I want to ask everybody in here, is it mandatory for a buyer to get a home inspection? No. Strong, yes. I like that. Good reframe there. It's caveat emptor, buyer beware. So the buyers, it's really their choice. Now, what is the form that buyers have to sign if they don't get a home inspection? BIW, Buyer's Inspection Waiver. I did this presentation in Rancho Cucamonga, California, and I had an agent. She raised her hand. She says, "Hey, do you want to hear how I lost my first commission on my first listing?" I said, "Sure." She ended up sharing with everybody in the room, and she said, "I represented an investor. The investor had told me that the home was completely remodeled. So I went over to the MLS and I put completely remodeled home for sale. The buyer ended up moving in. I double-ended the deal. The buyer ended up moving in, and they started plugging in some of their electronics. And when they plugged in one piece of their electronics, it ended up actually frying some of their electronics. So they called an electrician out to the property. The electrician said, "You actually have original wiring to the home. It's ungrounded and it's aluminum wiring. This is why you're having issues." So the buyer said, "I thought I bought a completely remodeled home," ends up suing the seller and the real estate agent, and they end up in a mediation. And that's when the agent said, "I'm going to pay for the entire electrical system to be redone in this home." And they were glad to stop it there because she mentioned to me that the roof was original and there was a couple other original things that if the buyer kept going, they could have got more. So what words will she never use in her advertising again? Completely. You will see this in the MLS. Completely remodeled home, completely remodeled kitchen. It's just somebody raising their hand like, "Hey, I'm ready to be sued." Change it to beautifully remodeled. It's very hard to argue beauty in court. So this is why this form, and she also mentioned the reason why she was 100% guilty is because she double-ended the deal and forgot to have the client sign this. And that was her oversight. It was one of her first transactions, and she didn't know. But as soon as they brought that up in the mediation, that's when she said, "Okay, I'll just pay for all the electric. And I'll give back my commission." Yes. But love it. That's a great barrier to have in place because it still happens. Some brokerages don't have that and they don't require it. So this is good that you're with a strong brokerage that's going to protect you and the brokerage for the future. Yes, full disclosure is better. And another way to look at it is like, hey, clients, we're having the sellers write everything wrong that they know about the property. I'm walking around in a business suit doing my avid. The other agent is walking around. Then we're having a home inspector. These are all the disclosures that we can give you at this point in time. Now, with all those disclosures, is it possible to disclose every single defect inside the home, even with all those parties? No. The clients are still going to move in and they're going to find things that weren't disclosed. It's just how properties work. Even if you buy new construction, you're going to step on a board. "Oh, this is creaking. Nobody told me about that." So setting that expectation, like, hey, you're going into home ownership. The day after, it could rain in California and you could have a roof leak. That's home ownership. So another portion that I like on the buyer's inspection waiver, and I don't think it's used very often, but if I was an agent, I would use it. So we have the home inspector who's kind of like a general doctor. And if I was to go to a general doctor and said, "Josh, something's wrong with your heart," what are they going to tell me? Go to a specialist, cardiologist. Same with the home inspector. It's kind of like a general doctor for the house. Jack of all trades, master of none. sometimes you're gonna say, hey, we recommend a roofer or an electrician to come out to the property. On the BIW, and you guys can educate me if this is still on the new one, because I have the old one from back in 2019. But this is waivers of additional investigation recommended by. So this would be a chance for you to say, the home inspector recommended a roofer and electrician. Client, do you want to pay a roofer and electrician to come out the property? No, we don't. So you come over here and say waivers of additional investigations. Buyer has received the general home inspection report prepared by the elite group, dated. Also, it does say if you do not do these, you are acting against the advice of the broker. You can have them sign, because as Jenny mentioned, your clients will get amnesia. They'll forget when they move into the property that you had told them to do these things. So we do check over 1,800 items inside the property: the structure, the plumbing, the heating, the electrical, the roof, the foundation, and the grounds. So it is a very thorough inspection. And for every single one of those areas, there's a specialist. So for example, the HVAC, there's a licensed HVAC professional. For the roof, there's a licensed roofing professional. Here's a condition that we run into from time to time. Okay, now sometimes this is just how it is, right? This is just how people are. That's cool. But sometimes it's very strategic, where the sellers are saying, oh, I don't want them to see what's going on behind over here, so I'm going to play Tetris. And we've had it where it looked like they have played Tetris. We've also had it like, could you guys imagine if there was like an outlet like right here? We've had where sellers they'll print out pictures of outlets, they'll paste them on the wall, and then you look at it and I was like, okay, this is where the rats are coming from. It's just a picture. It's not real. We've also had it where sellers on the sub area access, they will screw the sub area access shut. And we've even had some sellers actually leave the screw gun and the screw on the day of the inspection. So we'll say, hey, we'll go tell the buyer's agent, hey, we think the sellers are trying to hide something under here. Well, what gives you that? Well, the screw gun, the screws are right here and it's fresh. So then that we have them take it out. The takeaway from this is we do need access to the major areas of the home. We have to get in the attic. We definitely want to get in the attic because we want to crawl every wall up in the attic and also underneath the foundation. So if you notice something's blocking those areas, seller's belongings, have those removed before we come out and do an inspection. Same for water heaters or electrical panels or the HVAC system. We want to make sure we have clear access for the inspector. One of the most common areas when sellers move out of a home and let's say they're staging their house, where do they move most of their belongings? Garage. What is in the garage that needs to be inspected typically? Floor edges, water heater, right? So we had a deal where the garage was packed full of boxes. We couldn't get over to the water heater. So we're trained, we take a picture, click, recommend seller move items, recommend a reinspection, big red letters, because we cannot test the water heater. Nobody did it. Clients ended up moving the property. They got a bill. Their water heater went out after 1 week. They got a bill for $18,000 to replace the water heater and the leak around the water heater. We went to mediation with the agent. The mediator read our report and said, well, Elite Group, you're free to leave because you recommended that they have these items moved and nobody moved them. Buyer's agent, did you recommend the seller move these? No. Okay, by Elite Group, buyer's agent, you have to pay the $18,000. So this is why we will go on the inspection. If we see something's blocking, we will say, hey, can somebody move this so we can inspect it further? I read a book one time called Blink by Malcolm Gladwell, and he talks about, it's just a kind of really interesting fact. There's a difference between doctors who get sued and doctors who don't get sued. And they did a longitudinal study, and what they found, the difference between doctors who get sued and doctors who don't get sued was they spend an average of 5 more minutes with their patients than the doctors who get sued. So they studied them. And so when a doctor would come in and give a diagnosis, He would then leave the room and say, my other staff can answer your questions. And then they would leave the room. The doctors who didn't get sued would be there with the clients and answer as many questions as they have. This is now adopted into the standard of care for most medical facilities, where they will ask you multiple times before they leave the room, are you sure you don't have any more questions? And they'll go over to the door and they'll say, any questions for me? They're trained to do this. Why? They want to establish a strong rapport with that patient, make sure all their questions, comments, and concerns are answered, because it helps protect them from getting sued. We can move this over to real estate, and in the tornado process of escrow, when your clients are signing hundreds of documents, are you taking the extra 5 minutes to explain to them the process, the home inspection process? And more importantly, are you establishing a strong rapport with them? Because if they like you, they won't bring you into a lawsuit. It's a good takeaway. I also wanted to let everybody know that we've been in business for 40 years. We do have $1 million E&O insurance policy and general liability. We've also purchased an additional rider on our insurance policy, which is called a negligent referral rider. And what that means is if a realtor refers the elite group and your clients want to come after you for referring us, we will actually protect you. You'll be looped under our insurance policy. And you won't even have to show us. Yes.
Maybe it's out of battery.
Oh, okay.
Try this one.
Switch.
Is this one going?
Is this one working?
Both of them should be working.
Okay. Yep. I think, no, you're fine. You're fine. So we have additional insurance that protects the individual agents as well if they do refer us in the transaction. Now, I want to ask you guys, for new construction homes, do you think that we need inspections? I like whoever said yes. It's a loaded question. And if you ask a new buyer, do you need a home inspection on a new construction home? What are they going to say? No, it's a brand new home. Why would I need a home inspection? We've actually found homes. We'll scan the wall. We have Oakley, will you show him that infrared gun? So there's see how his hand is showing up right there, the heat from his hand? And even if I was to put my hand right here just for a little bit, it's going to put heat on the wall, and we can see that. So we scanned a whole house in Eastvale, California, and it was just red, red, red. We let the client know, hey, there may not be insulation in this whole side of this house. So they told the builder, we want to open the walls to see if there's any insulation in this wall. First of all, there was no insulation. And secondly, they also found old lumber being used in the house. Old lumber in a brand new house. JJ, are we still good? We're good with this one? Okay, I got a charger right here. Sweet. That's convenient. You've done this before, I can tell.
Multiple times on a weekly basis.
So we've also found old plumbing parts being used up in the attics as well. And sometimes they don't even actually forget to connect whole pipes in a property. We've done brand new homes on their 1-year warranty when you go underneath the raised foundation and it's just filled with water because they never hooked up the bathtub properly. Now, we've also done we did a custom build home, a $12 million home in Arcadia. And with that infrared gun, we noticed on one of the dimmer switches, like a really fancy dimmer switch, it was registering 160, 180 behind that dimmer switch. The builder called us. I thought he was upset. He called to thank us. He said our electrician wired that improperly. And we know what would have happened to that home had that condition been there. So it's very important. Also, we can have mold and termites in brand new construction as well. Imagine if you look out our window, we see all that open framing right out there, right? What happens if it rains tomorrow and all that gets soaked? Do you think the construction workers are going to truly wait until that's 100% dried out to continue to work? No, they're going to try to finish it fast because they have a deadline to meet. So sometimes they'll put drywall over it, it's wet lumber, and then you move into a house, brand new construction, and it has mold. Also, a lot of that lumber's been sitting out in the lumber yard, and it can have termites in it as well. All right. So this is everyone's favorite topic in real estate, mold. As an agent, you never want to use the word mold or mildew. It's always stain or whatever your office policy is. Stain is typically a really good one. What sometimes we'll point this out in the bathroom and the agent will run up just and say, oh, no, that's just mildew. Now, what an agent is doing in that moment is they're taking the hat off of real estate agent and they're putting the hat on of licensed toxicologist. I've actually sat in the room with a licensed toxicologist and I said, well, don't we have mildew in our bathrooms? Because I buy mildew cleaner. And he said, there's a mildew only grows on living plants. He's like, mildew relies on certain enzymes in living plants to survive. So it's like a surface mold on a plant. I said, well, don't we buy mildew cleaner? And he said, that's the Labor Law Act. The Labor Law Act only requires 90% accuracy. The other 10% can be used for advertising and marketing purposes. And I'm like, that is very interesting. And mold has such a negative connotation to it. Most people are afraid of mold when they see it in the homes. Like some people will see this in a house and they will run out the other way. Mold is very beneficial for our environment. If anybody's ever had cheese, yogurt, mushrooms, beer, or wine, you like mold. So when your clients want to get freaked out, hey, this is actually a good thing. This is actually a good thing. Why is it a good thing? Because this is not the real problem. What is the real problem when we see this in a property? Moisture intrusion. That is the real problem. So it's good that we have this giving us an indication that there's a moisture issue. And 80 to 90% of building sciences or building properties is how do we keep moisture out of properties? How do we slope the roof so the roof drains properly? How do we do the grading on the outside so water goes away from the home? How many vents do we have to put in the bottom so the house can breathe with the humidity? So we're not raising the humidity levels. But at the end of the day, this does need to be disclosed. We don't want to cover this up in a transaction. I got called into an office with a brokerage of 450 agents. And they said, hey, would you mind coming and doing an hour-long mold class? I said, absolutely, I can do that for you. The reason we're bringing you in is we have a $240,000 lawsuit on this topic right now. And they ended up sharing with me what it was about. So the agent did coming soon photos at a house in Arcadia. Coming soon, took photos with their camera. And then they had professional photography. Buyer ended up moving in, and a couple weeks later, they noticed stains growing in the bathroom. So this is interesting. So they went back on Redfin, and they found the coming soon photos, and they ended up seeing the stains on the coming soon photos from the bathroom. So then it went to a mediation. They got an estimate for $120 to rebuild the entire bathroom, the primary bathroom. They put another $120 for pain and suffering on there. When it went to mediation, the sellers brought an email from their agent that said, hey, professional photographer is coming today. Please paint over the stains in the bathroom. Now they had everything they needed. And I do think that brokerage ended up writing that check. And I think it almost brought down the entire brokerage. However, all of that could have been avoided with 4 simple words. Stains noted in that. Disclose. Let the buyer do what the buyer will do with that information. Now, mold is also very much like a dandelion. We see a dandelion and it's in the yellow phase, right? And then what phases to go after that? The white puffy phase, right? It's in the sporing stage where it wants to spread. So we could actually have mold on the wall and it's still in the yellow dandelion stage and we're not actually breathing anything in because it's not sporing yet. So it could be on the wall, we're not breathing it in. So we have 2 types of tests that we do. We do one where we can swab it. It lets us know what type it is. We send it off to the lab. Swab is $100. And then we can do an indoor air quality test where we set a machine inside the room. We test the air quality. Then we go outside and we test the air quality outside. Because we'll match the scores. There's mold blowing around in this room right now. There's mold blowing around outside as well. Very beneficial for our environment. In fact, has anybody heard of penicillin before? It's a mold ingested by the right person will rid our bodies of bacterial infection. Some people are allergic to it, so they gotta stay away from it. Same with this. If you have this growing in your house, it's mostly allergic responses that we're dealing with. Yes. It will never be zero. It would connect, I mean, thousands of tests, because you go outside, all that's blowing around in the air. So, when we go inside, it might be a little bit less than it is outside, but it's never gonna be zero. From all the tests that I've seen. And that's why it's important. That's part of the education about it. Like, it's part of our environment. Like, if we didn't have it, it's breaking down all the leaves, twigs, and everything. Yeah, but that goes back to the psyche of the buyer. They want a house with no defects, and they want a house that has zero mold spores in it. And those expectations, sometimes you have to coach to that, right? And so yep, it's not possible, right? It didn't go through. Yeah, and that's the tough part, is because now this has to be disclosed on the next for the next buyers coming in. And that's a tough scenario, but that's why if we're able to move those clients up to the 30,000 foot view, like hey, I don't want mold inside my house. If you look at the statistics, there's a large percentage of homes that have mold or mold spores growing in them somewhere that people don't even see, because it's just the nature of it. Like, anytime you get water on a property, you can have mold growth. Even like if people are mopping their floors, a little bit of water gets behind the floorboards there, and there's mold over there. So it's tough to find a home that is completely mold free, in essence. Thank you. So we do check the condition of the foundation. We do look for trip hazards around the property. We're going to document those. We do crawl the entire foundation, and on raised foundation, we are looking for cracking. With raised foundations, it really gives us a good way to look at all the structure, like the HVAC system or the plumbing. Sometimes on slabs, the plumbing is running through the slab and we can't really see all of the plumbing. So raised foundations have that as a benefit to them. We check the grading. We make sure water's going away from the property. We don't want water pulling up on the side of the property. This is a main water shutoff valve. We used to test these, but now we just lift this up. We look at the filled with water. What happens is, when we used to test these, some of these haven't been moved in 100 years, and we would go and we test it, and it'd go snap, and then it was broken, and then everyone says, okay, like, you're gonna buy a new valve. We did one in San Dimas where this was filled up, and the buyer called the city, and this was filled up the city because it was on the city side, and the city came and repaired the whole line all the way out to the road, dug up the road and everything. Which was good, because everything over here, which was the seller's responsibility, was intact. So that is a valve that homeowners can shut off if they ever have a leak inside their home. They can go stop the leak. This is a pressure regulator. It's installed. Ideally, we want to see between 50 and 80 PSI inside the homes. Anything lower, you're not going to have good showers. Anything above, it can actually start to wear the seals in the property and cause premature leaking inside the home. Most plumbers can install the pressure regulator for $300 to $600. This is wood rot, wood deterioration. Our home inspectors will identify this. However, there's somebody that's going to talk more about it in the transaction. What industry will talk more about this? Termite, bingo. What two types of termites do we typically see in Southern California? The other one starts with a D. Drywood, awesome. So drywood termites are typically found up in the eaves. They kind of eat the property from the top down. And then subterranean termites live underground, subterranean, and they rely on the moisture in the soil to survive. So you'll see them coming up the wall, they'll go eat. Termites are very interesting. They actually take up about 10% of all of Earth's biomass. There's more termites than humans, just numbers wise, but also mass wise, there's more termites than humans. This is a swarmer termite. The swarmer termites leave the colony and they go and they look for new territory to gain. These are like, this is a soldier termite. See how it has those mandibles? It can fight off ants and other things. These might be gardening termites. There's gardener termites where they have fungal gardens underground, and they have to maintain them to an exact degree to grow certain fungus in the ground called yeast. There's also a queen. Now a queen is probably about like that big. And if they sense a ant colony coming up on like the side of their colony, the queen can produce 15 to 30,000 eggs the next day that are all designed to be warrior termites. And so they're pretty interesting. However, they do cause billions of dollars worth of damage inside homes. In order to take care of subterranean termites, you drill the soil, inject it with a chemical. The termites get it on their body and they go share it with the whole colony. You can also do local treatments for dry wood and then fumigations. Now, this is typically a 3-day process. When they put the tent on, first of all, they have to walk the entire property to make sure nobody's in there, but they also do another precautionary step, which is where they put a tear gas inside the property, a chlorpickering gas, which will flush out any animals or people that are still inside the house. This happened in LA about 15 years ago. A company put that tear gas in there and they heard a window break. And one of the tenants was hiding in there underneath the bed because they thought there was cops. And then they ended up taking the tent off and getting the person out. But that's why they do that, because once they put that Viking gas in there, it has a 100% kill rate of the termites. 100%. And it permeates through every surface, even the wood. We do check the condition of the roof. What style is it? Average roof life in Southern California shingle roof, 20 to 25. We also have this roof that's being pictured has way too many layers on it. You'll actually have some cities that will only allow 1 or 2 layers to be on. Otherwise, it gets super heavy and it starts bowing like that. Definitely time to replace that roof. We do call out some entry points for rodents. Anything a quarter or bigger, rats can get in, and pretty much like a dime or a nickel or smaller mice can get in. So it's not good, because they do estimate that rodents cause about 7 out of 10 house fires. Because the rodents' teeth are constantly growing, they love to chew on these things, wires. This is the thing that we call out in the attic. We have exposed wires in the attic. You actually want it in a junction box, so if there was ever a arc in here, it would be contained in a junction box, and that's actually just missing a cover. We do check the electrical panel. Right here, you see we have 2 wires to 1 breaker. We don't want that. It can cause some overheating on the electrical panel. We typically want 1 wire. We also use an infrared gun where we can check the temperature to make sure everything is working properly on the electrical panel. Does anybody know what this image is on the far right? GFCI. Starting 1970, 72, 76, 78. Every year they kind of modified, we have to have these by pools, so we're going to modify it in 1978 to reflect pools. But pretty much it's now anywhere there's water, there's going to be GFCIs. Because back in the day, people would put their radio on the side of their bathtub, the radio would fall in, and that would be their last bath. Now we have cell phones, so that are waterproof, so we don't really need to worry about that. But awesome safety feature. If the home is prior to 1970, we do educate the clients hey, this home was built to code for its time. You may want to consider upgrading to GFCIs. Here's a tool that we use. It's a GFCI, or it's an outlet tester. It lets us know if it's wired properly. We also check the plumbing. Is it copper? Is it galvanized? Another thing we offer is sewer camera inspections. This is one of my favorite add-ons to a home inspection. This is actually mandatory. If you sell any homes in Northern California, it's mandatory. The city makes it mandatory before they allow the property to close. You have to send the city a sewer camera report before they allow you to record. Why? They got tired of all the lawsuits about it. Now, if you sell on the Central Coast, it's mandatory there. I think about 10, 15 years, these will be almost mandatory or really highly involved in the transaction. So to put it into perspective, 10 years ago, we would do 1 out of 100 homes. Right now, we're doing 40 to 45, almost half of the homes are getting a sewer camera inspection, even on brand new construction homes. When we do sewers cameras on brand new construction homes, we're finding rags, beer bottles, and completely crushed lines because of all that heavy equipment driving over. So when would you want to find that out as a homeowner? Before you move in. We're finding root intrusion, blockages, and offsets are where maybe there's an earthquake and those pipes offset, and then now it just causes draining into the yard. We check the condition of the windows. Are they functioning properly? Are they locking properly? This is actually condensation in windows. The seals most likely failed on this. We do check the water heater as well. Does anybody know why we strap water heaters in California? Earthquakes. If you're ever bored, you can watch videos of these shooting out like a missile out of the top. Because they're highly pressurized. So you want it top third, bottom third, about 4 inches above that gas line. And also, they started putting them on a base because what they found out is the gas fumes are pretty heavily, and this is back when it was open pilot lights, and the gas fumes wouldn't reach that open flame. Now it's all enclosed, so we're definitely safer in that regard. But they started putting them on a base so those toxic chemicals wouldn't ignite. This is another way to do it, especially for your larger water heaters, top third, bottom third, with the 2x4 bracing behind for extra stability. Yes. Oakley, how do we do that? Got it. Okay, so Jenny asked a question, how do we determine if it's a gas or electric water heater? One of the main things that our inspector pointed out was there's typically a dial and then also a yellow gas line, that yellow common gas line that you see going. The other one has 2 different panels. Great question. We do walk to every register. We're gonna want to get a hot temperature and a cold temperature. We also do some quick calculations to make sure that AC unit's running efficiently. We do this with hot water, cold water as well, because if you're a homeowner and you're moving in, you're going to want to make sure you have hot showers and cold rooms and vice versa. This is also good documentation for any home warranty concerns that can come up later on. We do recommend your buyers are present during the inspection. But as mentioned before, you want them to ask the inspector directly the questions so the inspector can answer them. Otherwise, you might want to, if your clients aren't there, they're going to ask you and you might give them improper advice. And a good home inspector is going to answer their questions and empower them. So as mentioned, we do home inspections. We do home inspections throughout California 7 days a week. We do have a really cool tool for agents. It's called a request for repair pricer. It's free with every home inspection. The most common question we get asked on a home inspection is how much does that cost to fix? We're not there to do that. This tool that we give is a free tool that's for agents only. It does not go to your clients. You just have to say, yes, I want this. And it gives you a ballpark estimate on how much a defect would cost to remedy. So once the home inspection report is uploaded, you'll get a link and say, yes, I want this. And you just click, yes, I want it. And it'll be mailed to you in 24 to 48 hours. We also do mold inspections. We do the indoor air quality. And we also have somebody on staff that can do a full mold and moisture analysis. We just had one on last Monday where it was a grow house and the clients wanted a full mold and moisture evaluation. And we were able to test it. Everything came back. It was good to go, and they moved forward with the purchase. We do the sewer cameras as mentioned. With a home inspection, they're $275. Without a home inspection, they're $325. We also have a roof division where we can provide a 2-year, 3-year, or 5-year roof certification on a home. The roofer is going to come out and evaluate the roof. If it's in a certified point, they're going to say, we'll guarantee this roof doesn't leak for 2 years. If it does, they come out and fix the leak. If there are items that need to be remedied, they'll let the clients know. This has been really big because a lot of insurance companies are requiring this before they'll insure the property. And number two, if they have provided insurance, a lot of insurance companies are canceling people because of the roofs currently. We come out, we put a 2-year or a 5-year roof cert on, send that to the insurance company, and they provide the client's insurance. And here's our termite division. We can do the termite testing, but we can also do any mitigation. We can do fumigation, repairs, the whole thing. And you can schedule all of these at one time. So we're trying to be like a one-stop shop for our agents. We also offer full commercial services. Every one of our inspectors up here has over 15 years of commercial real estate commercial inspection experience. So they're very thorough. What type of property you have, hospital, strip center, school, church, we can inspect it. All right, we are open 7 days a week. We do have the ability to pay through escrow for our home inspections and our other services as well. And you get the repair pricer report. We have over 10,000 5-star reviews, and I would definitely like to open it up for questions and answers. But before I do that, I wanted to introduce Oakley to everybody. Oakley, if you wouldn't mind standing up, and you can come over here to show the people on Zoom. I don't know if we're on screen because I can't see. But everyone, this is Oakley. He is one of my favorite inspectors, and I've been with the company for 15 years. So to have full confidence in sending somebody out, I have full confidence in Oakley. He does speak Mandarin, which is a benefit to us, is a benefit to our clients. So I wanted to hand it over to Oakley so he can say some things and maybe show you a couple of the tools that he uses, and then JJ will open up for Q&A. Awesome. All right, everybody, this is Oakley.
Thanks. Okay, I'll talk in English and then Chinese after, if there's people that don't speak. Hello, everybody. My name's Oakley. I'm a home inspector. 大家好，我是房屋检查员，我叫奥克。So I've been inspector 5 years. I inspect all the locations. I speak Chinese almost every day. So yesterday I had a job with agents. It was somewhere in Orange County, and they weren't listed as a request for Mandarin, but they were Chinese from Hong Kong. And when I was talking with them, I could tell the deal really changed. They were really like, I don't know about this. And then when I started talking with them and I'm letting them know, I share your concerns, I speak your language, we're a family together. They really appreciated that. And I could see at the end, they were very, very happy. So I think it goes a long way to be able to speak different languages. I know we have speakers that speak Spanish, Korean, and myself for Mandarin. So I practice every day. I wish I could speak more. I really work on difficult words like water heater or water pressure. And I can tell people, oh, need a good low, mayo, da wen ti, mayo lo shui, mayo lao shu. So your attic, no problems, no mice, no leaks, right? This is, yeah. So it's good, and it shows that I'm understanding more than just, you know, I read in a book that your attic should not have water. Feeling the concerns. So I really appreciate having the chance to speak Mandarin every day. I think some people, maybe they appreciate it, some people don't, but I think it really makes me feel like I'm part of the group and I'm not just outside. So think about that, but I've seen most of these issues, mold, the water heaters under the house. I've done over 2,000 homes. So I've been with the company 5 years. So I can answer any questions as well. I'm not sure what information you all would like to know, but that's what I have to say.
I want to hear you speak some more Chinese.
Oh, well, I like to tell people afterwards that, my talks have a good luck and I have a congratulations. So if I go to congratulations, I'm Long Shi, Ni de Jia, Hin Da, Hin Pia Lin. It's your house, very big and beautiful. Mayo Darwin T, no major problems, right? Or, oh, you have the problem, but this is how we can work on it, right? You can talk to a professional. One of my strengths, I think, is I do construction for my own, and I have all these pictures, at least 45 pictures that are just common issues that I always have almost every day. And being able to explain this to people, yeah, your water temperature is low on the water heater, but you could change it right here. And people, they really appreciate seeing the solution so close. It's not, yeah, you need to get a plumber, it's $400. It's, you can do it, or maybe your friend can do it. Or if you want to get a plumber, this is how to do it. So I think this is a little secret that, yeah, I think my strength is I can talk about my wife, Hunan Ren. She's from Hunan. So she, yeah. But I already learned Zhongwen Das Wei in university 3 years. So then later now, I can help her a little bit of English. She can help me in Chinese together. So I like to talk about spicy food, and everybody I talk to, I say, oh, my wife's from Hunan. Oh, so spicy food, do you like it? So I really appreciate that. And I have pictures of her cooking the spicy food, show people Hong Shay, Niu Wei, and yes, the radish and the oxtail soup. So she really enjoys this, and I always like to tell people, or tell her when I return home, oh, the people today were from Anhui or Beijing or Taiwan, Hong Kong. She always enjoys hearing this. So I really being able to speak to people that understand, and yeah, that's me.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Oakley. Appreciate it. Definitely glad to have you on my team, on the team. The only Chinese that I speak is my name is Josh Ni Hao. It's a great line. Thank you. Thank you. It's German, but it works. So I definitely like to open it up for any Q&As, and thank you guys for interacting as well throughout the presentation. A lot of people on Zoom as well. So if anybody has on Zoom wants to hop in and ask a question, or JJ or anybody in the crowd today wants to ask a question, we're here.
I have a question. May I ask?
Yeah.
Okay. The client going to buy a house has solar. So when do you inspection? Do you do something?
That's a great question. So that's more of an advanced inspection. We are looking for leaks around the solar equipment when we're in the attic, but we actually have a specialist on our team that can do solar inspections. They start at $375. It's from an electrical engineer. So they're going to be able to test the solar panel efficiency. Also, if it's wired properly into the unit. Our home inspectors, because they're generalists, they're just going to do a precursory look at the solar, maybe look if there's any broken tiles, but that's probably about the extent to what a home inspector is going to do. With that advanced inspection that we have, you can order the solar panel inspection with that electrical engineer to come out, look at the unit, make sure it's operating efficiently and that it's wired properly, and maybe even tell you a little bit more about like the systems, like what inverters are being used, how much life is left on those inverters, so on and so forth.
Well, I thought if you buy the lease, the solar, the seller supposed to cover something?
if it's a lease, then you definitely want to get a copy of that paperwork and get it transferred over into the client's name.
I mean, does the solar company has like a maintenance once a year or something?
So for the they typically should, like, every couple years, maybe even every year, you're gonna want to have your solar panels cleaned because the dirt and residue starts to bring down the efficiency. And some of the leases, they do have those maintenance contracts in there, but some of them don't. And a lot of the companies have gone out of business that have installed a lot of solar in Southern California.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Wendy.
Excuse me, can I have some questions?
Yeah, hang on. JJ's asking a question right now, and then we'll come to you.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Great question. Oakley, correct me if I'm wrong. Is it a credit card? If we can fit a credit card through, that's kind of like the first indication. Oh, grab the mic from you. So JJ asked, when we see foundation cracks, when would be an indication that we would want to maybe do some further evaluation? And Oakley's explaining that.
Excuse me, we cannot hear from Oakley.
Okay. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna move the mic over to Oakley.
Sorry, we cannot hear anything.
Oh, come closer, because I don't. How about now?
Can you hear me now? Okay. Should be on.
Can you hear us now?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so the difference between a large crack where you need to worry and a smaller crack is one that's less than 1/8 of an inch. So this is the size, possibly about the size of a business card. If it's larger than that, we're gonna call it out in red letters, let you know where it is, and recommend a foundation here to check it out. 听得到吗，各位？ Hold on, this is on. Is this on too? 你们可以听到吗？
可以听到啊。
我走远一点哈。你们刚才他可能在另外一个麦，现在呢？
现在可以。
清楚哈。Okay.
清
I think they both work now. Okay. Yeah, we had a different mic the entire presentation. So really, it's the size of the crack, or if there's numerous cracks. If there's multiple, like 6 or 7 cracks, it's definitely signs of some stress. If there's a horizontal crack going side to side, this is a very big issue. We're definitely calling this out. So this is the difference of the cracks. I say almost every home has some cracks in the foundation almost. It's just a matter of how large and where they are.
Well said. And we've even had some bigger cracks, like more than a credit card, like even that wide. And when we actually have an advanced foundation specialist on our team as well. So if your clients are concerned about that, we can actually take a lot of photos underneath the foundation and we send that to them for a review. It's only $200 to have that. And that advanced foundation specialist will look at those cracks and give you their professional opinion on them as well. We've even had it where we've sent them some cracks and they say, hey, those are completely normal settling cracks. We're confident that those just need to be filled and maintained, which really put the buyer's mind at ease, because when they looked at the property was built on kind of like a slope. And just over time, that one part of the foundation kind of had tilted and caused a crack. He's like, this is normal. And everybody was freaked out. And as soon as the advanced foundation guy said, this is normal, this can be easily fixed with filling it and monitoring it, everybody's like, okay, we're going to move forward with the transaction. Great question.
Okay.
Any other
Yeah,
questions?
also about the foundation. So there's
Yes.
a property that's sitting on the hillside off of Orange County, South Orange County, and then the homeowner feels there's a little, you just mentioned sliding of the foundation. So you guys have somebody to recommend to take a look?
Yeah. So on hillside homes in particular, if it's on a slab or raised, we're going to have two different recommendations. We're going to have the advanced foundation specialist for raised foundations, and then we're going to have one that's for slab foundations.
Okay.
Because typically that is either in the structural engineer category or the soils engineer category. And so we have Abe Cementob that, like, this is now a referral. Abe Cementob are Alpha Structural to look at those slab foundations.
We'll talk for further. Then
Okay,
for
perfect.
for-
But yeah, and we do have a list of vendors on our website. Like if agents are ever wondering who we would recommend or who we would use, we have those listed on our website.
Okay.
But good question.
All right. Guys, 你们有没有什么别的问题？各位，你们线上。Okay.
Oh, yes, I have some questions.
Oh yeah, yeah. We'll
Thank
come.
you.
I told her we'd go to her next, and then we'll come right back to you. Now that you have the mic. Yes.
Thank you for sharing, Josh. Okay, so I have some questions. First of all, we had a problem. The inspector found the distance between the AC condenser and the property too close, but the builder shows the document is matching the coding. So my question is there are some different coding, and which coding is the standard and we should follow up?
Oakley, for our AC differential temperatures, are we trying to get a 20-degree difference? 20 degrees up and down from room temperature. That's what we're going for. That's our standards.
The problem is the distance of the condenser.
It's not reaching, it's the temperature differential. Is that what you're talking about?
No, not temperature. It's the length, the distance between the condenser to the building, the main building.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So in the builder standing behind the fact that it's installed correctly.
But they shows another documents. They are correct. So we don't know, very confusing. What
I
kind
would-
of coding we should
I
match?
would,
Yeah.
okay. So in this case, I would recommend looking at the manufacturer recommendations for installation.
The yeah.
And
The
then I
mac-
would also I would also have an HVAC specialist review it as well.
Okay, got
And
you.
because between those two, remember the home inspector is just the general. If we have a builder's HVAC company saying, no, it's installed properly, there's probably a good chance that they're correct. And then if we bring a third specialist, HVAC specialist in, and they say it's installed correctly, then we now have two professionals that have superseded the general home inspector's opinion. And that could give your clients peace of mind.
Okay, got you. So my question is there any different coding, like a city coding and
Yes,
county
all the
coding?
time on every different topic.
Right. So which coding the inspector should follow?
That's where I would go with the manufacturer's recommendations for installation of the unit.
Oh, okay, got you. Thank you
Because
so much.
because even like if we're looking at like carbon monoxide or fire alarms, some of them, some of the cities mandate how those are installed. Like they say, oh, they have to be this many feet and this many feet up. But then when you look at the manufacturer recommendations, those kind of supersede, you have to install them according to the manufacturer recommendations for them to work.
Okay, got you. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Another question is, sorry, go ahead.
It's okay.
Okay, another question is, if we found that the inspection report has the problem, maybe the inspector missed to check all of the AC, like a big house, there are five AC condensers, but 3 of them in one area, another 2 in another area, but the inspector didn't know. We never know. So if so, like this problem, how can the buyer report or claim the loss? Which department they can?
Oh, so like at our company, we have an individual that handles any issues post-transaction. It's Leslie on our team. But if there's something that you feel wasn't inspected, ideally, if it's during escrow, we want to go back out and inspect it. But if it's after escrow, you would just call our office if we're the company that did it, and you would want to make a claim on that. Or was it a different company or our company?
Different company.
Okay. So, and they may be kind of in the dark too, because they don't know where these other 2 condensers are. So
Yeah.
it might be kind of hard for them to inspect them if they didn't know where they were located.
Yeah, after closing. So it's
But
very
is this one a new construction or just a different property?
different property.
Okay. So my recommendation to the clients would be have those 2 other condensers inspected because they weren't inspected, and maybe ask for some type of compensation back from the home inspector. But the home inspector kind of is a gray area if they didn't know where those other 2 were located.
So do you think the inspector has the responsibility?
I would look through the report, and did he get cold air in every area of the home? There may be some liability. Are the 2 condensers not working?
Yeah, after closing, they found the problems.
Okay. Did you get a home warranty?
Yeah.
It might be first step to go through the home warranty. And then if they deny everything, then you might want to try to loop in the home inspector. But they might have some mixed liability. You might be able to get a refund of their inspection fee that can help compensate some of the
Okay.
oversight.
Oh, okay. Got you.
But it is a gray area. It is a gray area. So thank you, Xiaolin.
Yeah. Can I have another question?
For
Yeah.
$25, yes.
Okay.
Go ahead. I'm just kidding.
Thank you. Yeah. So about the server line inspection, could you please share some experience? Which area and which year most likely have the problems?
With just general problems?
Yeah.
Solar.
Server line.
Sewer
Yeah.
line. Oh yeah, sewer line. 1970 and below, Oakley? You thinking? Cast iron, any cast iron definitely needs to be galvanized. It was a lot of trees in the yard, and it's primarily like prior to 1980, because now these systems are getting really aged, right? Those are typically the common ones. And if you see a lot of trees in the yard. But as I mentioned, even on new construction, we're finding defects as well.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much.
So it's good, like just for $275, it's a good standard of care, because we've even had like homes that are built in 2014 that have rose bushes growing down in the line. And you would have never known that just based on the year. But typically it's homes before 1970s, or with homes with a lot of trees in the yard. Thank you. Good
Thank you,
questions. Okay, we're coming over to.
Yes, thank you for sharing. There's so much information here. So I do have a few questions. The first one, can I request to work with a certain inspector?
Absolutely, and we recommend that.
Okay.
We recommend that because we have 65, 70 home inspectors, but you're gonna resonate, you're gonna get along with a couple of them, right? So we would recommend that. Oakley gets requested a lot because he does speak Mandarin and English. And then there's inspectors that work on the weekends or that just match your style. We are open 7 days a week. So that's, we would highly request that.
Should I still contact you first and then I do some request or?
Yeah,
just-
you can contact Pedro or I on your first deal. We'll make sure like everything goes great. Like if Oakley does a good job or whatever inspector you work with. And then you could say, oh, it was great, or no, let's try somebody else. And we can get you to that point. And then there's sometimes when some of our really good inspectors are booked, you say, hey, I absolutely need this on Saturday. And your main requests are booked. We kind of know who's similar in style, and then we could recommend who to go from there. Then we can put that on your profile.
I see. And another question is regarding the mold inspection and you have the roof inspection. So if I do feel like I do need those at the same time, so should I call first, or you can assign some people or request an inspector who can do the things at one time, you know?
Great question. So yes, when it comes like the home sewer, the home inspector can do the home and sewer. They can also do the mold testing, the swabbing, and the indoor air quality. But for the roof, it's a specialist. It's actually a licensed roof. Like the home inspector will still do a general on the roof, but for the roof certification inspection, it's a licensed roofer that comes out to the property. And for termite, it's a licensed termite inspector. So let's say you order a home, sewer, and then a termite and roof. There's going to be 3 inspectors then. The home inspector is going to do the home and sewer. Then we'll have the termite, and then we'll have the licensed roofer. If you want that advanced inspection for the roof. If not, the home inspector is going to do the general inspection of the roof.
Thank you so much.
Great questions. And yes, you can schedule those all at the same time. And sometimes we'll get it where, hey, the home and roofer on Monday at 10 o'clock, the termites Tuesday at 2 o'clock. And you say, okay, that works with the seller. Okay. For everybody that had to listen to me for an hour and a half, talk about home inspection, Pedro's going to send JJ a coupon code for $50 off, or collect some cards, or JJ, what would you prefer? Should we send you a coupon code that the office can use for a discount code,
Yeah.
and you can email it out?
Yeah,
Okay.
that'd be great.
Perfect.
Yeah.我们线下抽奖了。
Okay. Any other questions before we wrap up?
Let me see. Any other question? 你们线上还有没有什么问题 Does it say any? Okay. Sounds not clear.
That was
Yeah.
That was
JJ,
when
could
I
you
was-
please pass Josh's contact information? I have some referral
Yes.
contact.
They
need to
want
get
you
grab
to
from him.
contact.
okay. Perfect.
I will. 我会把那个
Thank you.
Josh 的联系方式发到我们一会儿发到我们群里面哈，所以说大家不用担心。然后大家还有没有什么其他问题？就是你们如果说哎呀我不好意思问啊，觉得自己英文不好，怕他们听不懂，你们现在告诉我，然后我来帮你们讲。发到公司群里面也可以啊。Last 我们有 couple more minutes. Anyone?
So just so you guys know, I carried this microphone the entire meeting, and I didn't have it hooked up.
we didn't
We didn't
select it.
switch it. We did
Okay.
everything else right. We did everything else right.
有没有什么问题，各位？没有吗？都没有吗
那学姐，
？Yeah.
我想请你帮我问一下，用英
可以
文，我就用中文表达吧。
啊，你说。
就是我想，就是说的问的就是什么情况下，比方说那些 additional 的那些 inspection，我们可以加上去，因为我们知道我们很多时候都是standard 的 inspection， 对吧？
对。
那些 additional 的在什么？就是我想有一个 common sense， 这什么情况？
你是说你想要在
要
检查？你想要在检查之前就知道，还是说因为他们在你给你的 report 以后 ，report 上面就会写说他们建议你再做额外的这个项目，但是你还有一种情况就是说，比方说你知道这个房子周边的树比较多 ，OK， 这个房子的年份正好在70年左右，然后它可能这个下水管道是一个铸铁的下水管道，那么这种情况下他们会 recommend 你提前就直接先order 这个 sewer inspection。
哦，OK，
对
对，我这是因为他们 concern，所以我想
对
知道，因为如果说我要知道这个东西，还是马上就是定的好，对吧？如果能够
对你要么就是就像我刚刚讲的，要么就是 upfront，你觉得这个房子，哎，1970年，那我就做一个加上，同时就刚讲我要一个 sewer inspection。那这个房子如果比较新，比方说2010年的房子，那你觉得这个房子周边没有种很多树，那这个 sewer 可能就不需要。所以他们会在你的 general 的 inspection report 上面告诉大家。
OK，get you，thank you，
OK，
好，
and how much is your inspection cost? How much you cost? What's your general cost?
The pricing for condos 0 to 1,500 square feet, starts at $375. For SFRs, it starts at $395, $415. We're very competitive on price. We're not the lowest price, but we're very competitive when it comes to pricing.
Okay,
And then every 300 square feet, it goes up in like variables.
Okay.
And I will share something with you guys on the screen. If you ever want to find out a price, I have 15 people in my office.
Mhm.
You can just call. I'll provide the 800 number. You just call and they can provide a price quote. But you can also go to our website as well. And there's my information. But let me go over to the website here. I've got a lot of
他们
tabs
公司
open.
的网站上面是有价格的哈，我跟大致讲一下，就是说 condo 1500尺以内的话，好像是300，刚刚是多少？390，300多少？315。OK， 就是然后不是415是他们的 single family 哈，独立屋415起。
You can come over here to book my inspection.
你看他们
And
官
then
网
you
上
can enter the property address and it'll give you a price
，OK
on this online
OK，
floor.
所以你们如果去到他们的官网右上角有一个预约的这个链接，然后把房子的地址打进去之后，他们就会给一个报价出来了。所以说1500尺以下的 condo 是350块起，然后独立屋的话应该是415块起。OK，
And then we had another question over here.
Mike。
That's awesome. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Yes,
good feedback.
that's one thing I mentioned in the very beginning to all our agents. That you guys do something, one step further. That is to provide a quote for a lot of the repair items. 我讲中文哈，就是说Elite Group 他们有一个地方就是比很多其他的这个 inspector 做的多一步的，就是他们会给你们报价。就是说你们要做维修的时候报价，因为这个报价会对我们去申请 request repair 帮助很大，对不对？因为很多时候我们去 negotiate 去谈判的时候，对吧？然后我们不知道说我要怎么谈，我是要他修还是我要 credit？ 那我要 credit， 我要多少钱？所以他给大家一个一个 guideline， 然后你们去 compare prices 的时候也知道什么样，然后你也可以用他们的这个 recommended contractor. So if I remember, you guys have the recommended contractor for those price quotes as well.
Yeah. So if you go,
Right? Yeah.
yeah, because that's how it's evolved. Like, can you help us with the price? Can you help us with the price? And then the next question is who can do it? So that's also on our website as well. In the report, it's there. Okay. Okay, perfect. Yep. And then you can also go to our website, eliteinspections.com.
对，所以大家以后就是如果你们有需求，就是大家各位的英文 OK 啊，然后可以因为我用过很多次他们公司的这个 inspection，当然有一些特别的 inspector 比较难约一点，因为他always like hard fully booked or it requires a few 一些时间你要等他去做 inspection。但如果你们需要有一些这个检查人员很快，因为他们公司的检查人员很多，刚刚他提到有大概70-80个general 的 home inspector， 那么这种情况的话，他们会很容易安排到有人可以很快的去帮你做到这个 inspection。那有的时候我们如果时间比较紧的话，你的 contingency 时间比较紧的话，也可以考虑他们哈。OK，
那个 JJ 啊，我
Yeah
问一下，他第一个就是那个估价的话，修理估价是另外付费的吗？给这个报告？
没有，是免费的哈，它是 included in your inspection report. So the quote comes with the report, right?
Completely free.
Yes.
Yeah.
是免费的，跟着你的报价，跟着你的 inspection
They-
report 一起来的。
They have to order it though. Like
Okay.
you get an
这个比
email
钱
OK
and then you click order
Uh-huh.
and then it'll come to you.
OK，
Yeah.
所以说你们需要在上面去要求一个这个 quote，OK， 在你的 inspection report 你可以去点 order 这个 quote， 但这个 quote 是免费的 ，OK， 然后你要求之后，它大概在24小时以内 ，is 24-hour turnaround。
24 to 48 hours.
24 to 48 hour turnaround， 就是24到48小时以内，它会给大家一个价格一个 quote， 然后你们再根据他们给的 quote 可以去跟卖家来谈你们的要的 terms 和价格，对吧？因为他们的 quote 呢都比较 fair， 为什么呢？因为你不用担心说我 quote 它 quote 价格太高了，我不要用它，你可以不用它，但是你可以用它这个价格去干嘛？去谈判，对不对？去谈判。所以说这个是一个很好的这个一个 tool 给到 agent 啊，给到各位 agent， 因为你们去谈的时候 listing agent 也会问，哎，那你这个价格的基础是什么？你就可以把这个 elite group 给的这个 quote 发过去，你说这个是我们 quoted price， 然后我要这么多的 credit， 对吧 ？More sound，OK？ 好，现在大家屏幕上有看到，就他给到大家的一个这个 repair pricer， 对吧？一个 sample。大家看得到吗？
看得到啊。我
Yeah
请问，我印象中间我用过他们几次，好像他们给的报告的时间有点长，很多公司都是当天做，当天晚上就能收到报告。他们现在的速度能做到什么程度
？The question is what's the turnaround for the report? Say we have the inspection today, and how soon are we able to get the report back?
98% of the time
Uh-huh.
you'll have it that night.
Okay.
But our service guarantee is 24 hours. So if we do an inspection today at 10 a.m., you will have it by the next day at 10 a.m.
Okay.
But
Okay.
typically we get it the same day.
OK， 各位他们98%的时间都会在当天的晚上给，但是它是24小时。就是如果今天你是早上10点钟做的 inspection， 他们保证的是24小时以内，明天早上10点钟给你 report， 啊，应该是按照结束的时间开始算哈。
还有一个建议啊，他们那个网站啊，因为有的公司它那个预约就比较容易，我能看出来我喜欢的那个 inspector，他哪些时间段是可以 available 去 booking 的，他们的这个网站就没办法做。
Okay, so you guys can't do the per inspector their time slot, the time slot on the website to
Yeah,
book.
you can.
You can?
Yeah,
Oh, you can do now?
you can select it.
So inspector, if they're available, and then to book it online.
Yeah, you can request the inspector online.
Okay.
Yes.
OK， 所以你们现在也可以单独的去要求这个 inspector online， 但是可能时间 but it does not show their available time slot, does it?
It will.
Okay.
Yeah. So it should.
应该也是可以哈，他现在给大家演示一下。
Let me just try.
那 inspector 有 rating 吗？
Do you guys have ratings for inspectors on your website or no?
No, we don't have
没有
ratings on them.
没有哈，各位，你们他们会就说你如果是第一次用他们的 inspector， 他可能就会按照你的时间给你 assign 一个，但是他们的 inspector 呢都是比较generally 他们都是自己会培训的啊。因为我自己用过他们，所以我知道，也不是其实今天的一方面是他们 promote 他们自己的 business， 另外一方面是给大家讲说我们 inspection report 里面会有哪些东西要注意的，然后你们一些 tips， 我们怎么样去 negotiate 你的这个repair request repair 啊，你怎么样去哪些地方要 watch out， 你们的 AV 上面要不要写，因为我不知道你们有没有抓住这个重点哈，因为重点是讲说你们 AV 里面不要去给太多跟我们自己的 license 不匹配的一些 statement。刚才他讲到啊，你说 mold present， 我们不是 mold specialist， 所以说我们不能讲说，哎，这个房子这里有 mold， 因为不是我们来决定它有还是没有 mold。我们应该说什么？这个地方有 stain， 有污渍 ，OK， 仅此而已。因为我们不能说这个是不是 mold， 是不是 mildew， 这个东西是我希望大家能够 pick 到的，就是说你在 inspection 还有你的 AV 上面啊，你们写的时候。怎么样去避免自己的一些 potential 未来的这个法律的纠纷哈。
So you
Yeah.
can see right here, I can go through and
Okay.
choose the different inspectors and it'll show their availability.
OK， 所以说大家你们在网上可以看到哈，就是说它可以 schedule 你 filter by inspector 右上角对吧？你找你想要的这个检查人员，然后他的 schedule 就出来了。所以说那个小林是可以做到的啊。
它这一秀以后就很清楚了，原来都不知道有这个功能。
对，是可以的，是可以的。所以说你根据你自己想要的 inspector， 他们的时间都在上面 available， 你可以直接在网上去order。然后还有一点就是他们的这个费用可以 escrow pay，OK，pay through escrow。但是in case 你的 escrow 不 close， 我还是 recommend 你们要客人 upfront 自己来支付这个费用 ，OK。Yeah, I remember you mentioned that the fees can be paid through escrow. What happens if the escrow does not close?
So they
Credit card.
Credit card.
All right.
Yeah.
OK， 所以说他们会要求客人也可以哈，就是说他们会要求客人留一张信用卡，但是信用卡不会立即被支付掉。那么如果通过 escrow pay， 那么他们可以在 escrow 去 pay。如果这个 escrow 没有被 close， 他们会来收取这张留下来的信用卡。OK， 所以你们客人是有这个选择的哈。还有没有什么其他问题，各位 ？Any other questions？
它其实没有 close 的话，它一样可以从 escrow 扣啊，因为它有 deposit，这是 buyer 该付的嘛。
对，但是就比较麻烦嘛，所以他们就不需要 escrow 去介入了，他就直接收这个客人的信用卡了，他们会留客人信用卡哈。Questions? Comments?
有没有就是摆城市去找 inspector 的？
没有，他
比如说
们都 cover， 所以说你就是找自己的这个想要的 inspector 或者是自己要的时间。
就比如说我要去 Ventura County 那边，那肯
他
定是
们应该也
就近
可以
找一个。
他们会 assign， 因为像 Oakley 刚才有给大家介绍啊，他整个南加州 San Diego 他也去，Valley 也去，哪里都去。OK， so you guys do cover Ventura County as well. OK， 也有的。
Valley, Palm Desert, San Diego.
Yeah.
Everywhere in between.
Yeah, everywhere in between. 所以说从上面 Ventura County 一直到 San Diego， 他们中间的包括 Palm Desert 的这些沙漠地带，他们都有去哈，只不过就是给你报的价格了。OK， 还有什么问题，各位？没有，我们 Did we draw the price？ we're gonna do that right now。我们要抽奖了，但是各位我们只有抽线下的。
It's all right. Just JJ will fill. JJ fills in. Or you want me to do it?
So the name's in there. It's written on the. Okay.